if it's possible for influence to be more important as a leader when we're leading a team remotely, I suppose that that's true. Because here's the thing, as a leader, everything we're doing is about influence. But when we're doing it at a distance, when people can't always see us, when they're making guesses and assumptions about what we're doing, when we're making guesses and assumptions about what they're doing, it becomes even more important that we're able to influence others. We have to recognize too, that sometimes when people are working with us down the hall, we feel like we have more control. We really don't. People are they're doing the work anyway. It's just that we have to get out of our own heads even more when people are at a distance. We have to recognize that we have to let them do the work. We have to give them the opportunity to do that. It's just so very critical. What would you add to that?
Well, I just think it's important that, even if one were inclined to be a micromanaging weasel, when you are trying to do that at a distance, it's just impossible. You just actually can't do it.
Yeah.
Even if that was your inclination, it's impossible. So you may as well get over it. I think part of it too, though, is that when we're working in
not because some people haven't tried. I mean,
not from lack of trying. They've
Exactly.
given it everything they had. But I think particularly in project environments where more and more you're leading people, but they have a real boss somewhere.
Well, right.
Yeah. Where you're fighting for mind share, where there may be conflicts in priorities or resources, influencing just becomes a critical skill because that's literally the only tool you've got.
Yeah. You don't have any sort of power differential there because you may not be their supervisor, to your point.
Yeah, you can't fall back on that traditional, at the end of the day, I can fire you if that's the only card I have to play.
Right. And listen, even if that person, even if you do supervise them, that command piece doesn't, if it ever worked, it works even less effectively when people are remote. The thing is, as a leader, we are in the business of being influential. It's the only way we can lead. To Wayne's point, when we're doing it at a distance, even if you tried to ignore that fact before, you can't ignore it now. Command and control is not going to work at a distance. We have to let go. We have to give people the chance to do their work. Now, we can set super clear expectations, mutually understood, so that we can improve the chances that people will be successful. When we set clear expectations, we are being more influential in people making those things actually happen.
Well, I think part of influence, of course, relies on buy-in. Right? You've got to, at the beginning, get people to buy into the vision. Where are we going? What are we doing? And when, as we've said so many times, communication and the back and forth becomes purely transactional and we leave those kind of aspirational components out of it, it's much harder to influence and looks a lot more like control. If we're constantly going back to remember why we're doing this, remember where we're going, it's easier to maintain that influence. And at a distance, that needs to be a conscious, mindful part of the conversation.
And I think that's where we'll land this, is that we have to be clear as a long-distance leader that that's where we have to work from. Even if we thought it was possible to do something different before, it's not even an option now. We have to be intentional and clear about the fact that we're in the business of helping people be successful, influencing them to make choices that lead to them to be more successful, and not because at the end of the day, we can't make them do it.